All right, what else? All right, yeah. Here at Coldwater, Friday night meeting, we encourage sponsorship and getting a home group. If you are interested in getting a home group or sponsor, see a home group member after this meeting. If you have any questions, will a home group member please raise their hand? Also, our anniversary is October the 5th, and we have a lady, Sarah from Dunkirk, and Jenny from Springfield. We got the chicken. Wayne ordered the chicken. We ordered our literature today. Steve and I did, and I'm going to go to Lima and get the plates and all that for the anniversary, so we should have that done. So keep that in track. Mark that on your calendar, October the 5th, 44th anniversary here at Coldwater. All right, Kevin's annual fall bash is September the 27th. Starts at 4 p.m. Eat at 5:30. Chili, breads, coffee, water provided. Bring side dish, snack, dessert, and lawn chair. It's at 7780 Burville Road, Salina, Ohio. Next Saturday we have the District 23 gathering, which is sponsored by our District 23 at September 13th at the KSC Geiger Park, 170 East Greenville Road, St. Mary's, Ohio. Use east entrance and park by the basketball court, shelter house by the pickleball courts. Meet at noon, eat at 12:30, bring a covered dish, a friend, hamburgers, hot dog, pop, water provided, free mini golf. Also, at our Southwest General Service area assembly, we're going to have an election on September the 20th, 25 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is at St. Lutheran Church at 470 Gebhardt Church Road, Miamisburg. Also, we have the scan this thing for the Al-Anon and A activities in our area. Richard, you got the district meeting?
I do. I'm Richard Alcoholic.
Richard.
October 12th, which is Sunday afternoon at 1:15, we'll have our regular meeting for District 23 at the Jabez House in Salina. As for GSRs, alternate GSRs, and image service.
Hey, Richard. And we passed the 7th tradition basket. We are self-supporting, your own contributions. This self-support includes our rent for this room, the church, coffee, refreshments, contributions to the district area, central office, and general service officer. If you have any court slips, just put them in there. We'll sign it after the meeting. All right. Tonight, I got a friend. This is his first lead. And they always say, you bring the body and the mind will follow. That's a good example of this young man that's coming to give the lead tonight. He keeps on going to meetings. That's what you got to do if you're new in this program. You know, we don't care how many times you go back out, but we prefer to keep coming back. You know, that's the big part of Alcoholics Anonymous. So without further ado, I give my friend Mitch from, not Mitch, Matthew. Mitch, I'm thinking of you too. Matthew.
Oh my God. Alright, I'm Matthew and I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, like you said, this is my first lead. Been a long time since I stood up in front of people and talked, so I guess I'll just start at the beginning. Not just an alcoholic, I've been an addict my whole life too. I was born 1988 in Lima, Ohio. I had a great mother. I had a good upbringing. My biological father was an alcoholic and decided not to stick around. So I grew up without him, which good riddance. But you know, my mom married a man, had my brother. We lived in Walpock most of my life. For the beginning of my life, and then they only lasted a couple years. Mutual disagreements, and they split ways. And then my mom married another man that moved us to Botkins, this was the first time I ever actually met an alcoholic, abusive alcoholic at that. Spent a few years living with him, and finally my mom had enough of his stuff, and met a man that moved us to Indiana. And thank God for him, because I don't know how long I could have lived in that hell. And I spent my teenage years just, like I said, good upbringing. Mother and father both loved me. My stepdad adopted me. Never seen the man drink. Never seen the man do a drug. He was as good of a role model as you could possibly have, but being stubborn and bullheaded, I didn't follow his example or listen to his words of advice. So, about 13, I started drinking. Started the medicine cabinet was like my best friend. You could find whatever you wanted in Mom's medicine cabinet. So I spent most of my teenage years doing drugs, drinking, getting in trouble. Finally dropped out of school at 16. I went and got me a job. And mind you, we lived in Lafayette, Indiana, which is right next to Purdue campus. So 16, I got me a job in a restaurant working with all the college students. So that made it really easy to drink and drug, get invited. I probably went to college more than I went to high school, or at least the campus, I was entertainment value at that point, because I was a 16-year-old that was beer bong and vodka. I mean, all the college guys just thought it was really cool that I could do that. Now that I think about it, it was kind of insane. It's a miracle that I'm still here. And then my dad joined the Army, moved us down to Kentucky, spent a few years down there. My drinking didn't slow down. If anything, it just sped up, especially being around a military base. I can't believe I didn't get a DUI back then, because I'd drive through the gates to military housing drunk as hell. I just remember 10 and 2, and they'd never look at you. Parents ended up moving away, moving around. I went to truck driving school, got my CDL, drove truck for a little bit, got a DUI in my personal vehicle right afterwards, ruined that career in less than 6 months. My parents PCS'd up to Anchorage, Alaska. They moved up there for Dad's military career, and he deployed to Afghanistan shortly after he got there. So Mom was all by herself, and she asked if I'd come up there. It took me like 6 months to make the decision, because I was just floating around Ohio, drinking, doing drugs, any drug I could get my hands on, sticking needles in my arm, whatever, just couch surfing, having a good old time. Till I decided maybe it was time for a change. Well, at least I thought a change. Moved up there, went to a trade school and became an HVAC tech. Got my EPA certification. I was doing real good there for a couple years. I quit drinking. I quit doing drugs. Probably about 2 years or so. And then just one day on my birthday, I had that insane thought, I can do this. I can have a drink. And it was all downhill from there. I never went to AA. I never went to any programs. I just, was hell-bent on doing it myself. Met my wife, well, now ex-wife. Met a lady that I ended up marrying, having a couple kids with. My drinking just progressed pretty rapidly, actually, in my mid-20s. The harder I worked, the more I drank. So, developed a nice little cocaine habit so I could drink more whiskey. I found that I could drive better. if I did a little cocaine. You know, correct, yeah, I think. But, you know, thank God I never hurt nobody, because I sure as hell could have. And finally my wife had enough of my shit up there and told me that we needed another change. She wanted to move back down here to Ohio to be around my family, and I was like, you know what, that's probably not a bad idea. We'll go be around some of my family for a little while. Moved back down here. You know, I did okay there for a little bit. You know, I'd drink off and on. I say okay, but okay to me. But I never could get the grasp of it. You know, when I wasn't drinking, I was angry. I was just the definition of a dry drunk, I would say, for probably 5 years. Just the less I drank, the angrier I got. And then when I did drink, I'd get even angrier. And this went on for, like I said, about 5 years. I became abusive. I was not a good husband. I was an okay dad, but I was not a good husband. And she finally had enough of my shit and had me arrested for threats of violence about 8 months ago. And I really hit a rock bottom at that point. You know, I was pretty sure there was no hope for me at that point. To be quite frank, I was suicidal. And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to turn. I knew that drinking wasn't the answer, because that's how I got to where I was. I knew that doing drugs wasn't the answer. That's how I got exactly where I had put myself. And I used to like to say, you know, I lost this, I lost that. But I didn't. I gave it away with my choices. So one night I was like, I got to do something. I can't do this by myself. I was teary-eyed as hell. Went to a meeting in St. Mary's, and that meeting saved my life. 100% saved my life. I've never been a religious person, but that night I felt the presence of God in my heart, and I've seen a different way. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know when it would start. And frankly, I didn't care. All I knew is that there was a better way than the way I was doing it. So I just hit the ground running. I started going to meetings a lot. I hadn't even been court ordered to do it yet, you know, and but I just knew. I knew I couldn't do it alone. And when I got my DUI back when I was 21, they sent me to AA meetings. And I really wish I would have paid attention back then, because I opened up the 12 and 12 book and I got to page 2, and it says, he who was so availed has rarely won in single-handed combat. And I may have done a lot better back then if I would have just opened the book. If I just would have read a page. But, you know, all in God's time, because I needed to go through those experiences to get to where I am now. You know, I've been religiously coming to meetings for about 7 months. I'm 9 months sober as of Wednesday. And, you know, I've been dry for 9 months before, but I've never lived in sobriety. And now I feel like I'm actually living in sobriety. Even the things that I've given away and the things that I say that I've lost, I've gained so much more from this program. It's with these rooms. It's with the people around here. 'Cause I was broken. I don't even know what I'm gonna say now. Fear was my biggest challenge, I think, with coming into AA, and even right now, like I'm scared shitless to be up here in front of you guys, you know, and I know I don't have to be, and but I'm gonna face these fears, and I'm gonna continue to walk through these doors and make spiritual progress, because that's what I have to do, and yeah, I'm living a new freedom that I never thought was possible. When I got here, I didn't think change was possible, but without even realizing it, like the changes just happened in me. I'm not near as angry as I used to be. I've learned how to pause, pray, and proceed. It's been a huge, huge thing for me. Yeah, I'm just so grateful to be here. And boy, that was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. But with that, I pass. I'm gonna call that there. Thank you, guys.
That's a good message, Matthew. It's not all along we talk, it's what we say, you know. You know, you find out what you are, and that's part of acceptance. You got to accept for what you are and who you are, you know. And you go to a lot of meetings. I've been to a lot of discussion groups with you. I listen when you talk. It takes me back where I was at when I came to the program, Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, this is a we program. It's not a me program. Well, thank you for a good message. We'll open it up for comments.
Tom. It's been a pleasure working with you in the 12 steps at Alcoholics Anonymous. Thanks. I'll see you around.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm Jim. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Jim.
Nice first lead. That was very nicely done. I think you had a lot of great realizations coming in. I mean, we had our head on in the right place when we finally hit our bottom and come in and just kind of take what this program has to give us. It can be pretty simple. And all of a sudden we found ourselves happy. And it surprised the heck out of me when all of a sudden I was still walking around in the wreckage of my life that I had just blown up. But I was happy that I could be, because I knew in my heart that I had stopped and I had pivoted and I was going a different direction. And I was learning how to live my life doing the next right thing. Sounds like you've done the same thing. So I'll leave you this, you know, I think it's also wise for us to realize that how fear-driven that we are early on. But what I also realized is the more that I had faith, my fear dissolved. Faith is the absence of fear, and fear is the absence of faith. That's all I got.
Randy, alcoholic addict.
Hey, Randy.
Matthew, great lead. I can't believe I've known you that well. A lot of people in here have watched you grow quite a bit here. Like when you said that, you know, the change of living sober and living in sobriety. I do remember when you first started coming to meetings, that one day you said to me, after some of these readings, sometimes it's like a kid in a candy shop. There's just so much to grab there, and we know how overwhelming it can be, especially at first. And you always make me smile every time you show up. And I consider you a very good friend, and you did a very good job tonight. Thank you, man, for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Randy.
Randy. I'm Rich Alcoholic.
Richard.
Good job, Matthew. I told you you'd do alright. You've been a really good friend to me as well. As far as your story, I related a little bit, except for I wasn't beer bonging vodka. I was beer bonging bottles of nitrate and wine. For a long time, I thought it was Mad Dog 2020, but my friend corrected me a couple years ago. I don't remember. Woke up without eyebrows. The whole story. But
Been there, done that.
But you always help me when I need help, and you never ask for anything, or you just do it. And I appreciate your friendship. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
I'm Al, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Al.
I just wanna reinforce what Gary said, it's not the length of the lead, it's the message you get. You gave a very good message. And I've enjoyed seeing you at meetings for the last 9 months now, I guess. I didn't know how long or short it was. But, just enjoy seeing you come around, so keep coming back, and I'll pass.
Hey, Al.
Oscar alcoholic.
Oscar.
Oscar.
Congratulations, 42?
42, yes, sir, thank you very much.
I have 4 months here, I am a spiritual baby here. That's amazing, yeah. Congratulations, Matthew. It's a great life, great example for us. I understand now this program is for 24 hours. Yeah, it's great for me. Listen to your history. For me, I have a change in my life. My wife are here. It is excellent for me. Today I have a change. Thanks to your history. All are in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar.
My name is Wes. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Wes.
You never have to do the first one again.
Yeah.
So, good job.
Thank you.
I guess my observations would be that you seem a little more relaxed than you used to be. You always are attentive at meetings, and the only note taker I know of at meetings, but hey, if it works, that's great. You guys should do it.
I have a terrible memory, so I like the quotes.
You're doing the good stuff, yeah.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the fellowship and adding to it. That's all I got.
Hey, Wes.
Alcoholic.
Hey, Corky.
Thank you, Matthew. I just want to tell you, one guy told me when I did my first lead to say, some afraid, but you know, he said, you very strong, man, because what you're doing here, you come here is you facing the problem, and that's exactly you keep coming back. Thank you.
Thanks, Corky.
Sorry.